Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I want to talk about something important. So as we all know, on the login rewards, we're getting Jay's Hammers, plus if you are returning to the game, you probably got another 3 or 4 of them from the Heidel Ball codes. And I wanted to talk about the best uses of it right now. And depending on where you're at in the game or what your goals are, I want to talk about it and look at the prices of all the items just to give you a better idea of what you can do and what the future holds for all this. So, as we all know, number one high priority for endgame players is the Sovereign offhand. And it doesn't matter which Sovereign or Black Star you get, you need 2 of them to convert to a Sovereign offhand. That is the cheapest route. We talked about more details in another video. So over the past few days, I've seen people panic buy and sell them. So if you see this chart right here, this used to be at 100 bill. It's funny enough, people were actually buying pen Black Stars at 100. And if you have any sort of patience, you could probably get it for about 20, maybe 25 billion cheaper. And so one thing for endgame players, for all the hammers that we're going to get, is probably, I would say, the best use of this would be on an offhand, just because you can get your second one. But what we're really looking at is for people who are just trying to use it for profit. So right now it's 85 billion. I have a feeling after today and next week or something, pen Black Stars are probably going to go down a little bit, just because people are inevitably going to be one-tapping their thing. So offhands are 85 billion. The main hands, I just don't think they're worth enhancing. They're the lowest of all 3 of them, and reasonably so. Sovereign, Main, and Awakening are already out. So just wanted to compare it. 60 billion for the main hand. Probably not worth using it for that one anyway. And Awakening is, I guess it doesn't matter which one we look at. Awakening is more available on the market, because I assume for every class you'll just see them, but the cap is a little bit higher, but it doesn't mean you'll be able to sell it for the cap. So realistically, if we're looking at it right now, the offhand is the best one in terms of value, whether you're enhancing it for profit or you're enhancing it for the Sovereign offhand. But with that said, there are a few more uses for it. So looking at it, you could use it on Fallen God armors, and which one would be the best for you for all of these. Now let's look at the prices of this one. I think that the only use for the hammer, if you're using it for armors, is going from Tri to Tet, or if you're a really super geared player, using it from Tet to Pen, and you're basically gonna fail it. But the 0.02% chance might happen. Realistically not, though. Anyway, so for your average things, going for Tri to Tet, let's look at the prices of all of them. I think they're mostly around the same, give or take a 5 bill difference, which actually is kind of a lot. But in order, I think, of what you guys should be going for, let's say you're going into the Fallen God armors, right? The order that they came out when I was playing was the armor came out first, followed by the Labresca helmet, then the Dawn gloves, and then finally the Ators, which are last. Now, in my opinion, it's probably all the same price, but the one that I would probably start hitting is the Ator shoes, because assuming you are not at the gear point, for Ulakita, generally you have to be around 300 AP plus to, entry level to grind the spots there. So it's probably the hardest one to do, so you probably want to get this one out of the way as soon as possible. And then ultimately it doesn't matter, and making the Dawn gloves is easy. The only downside is you have to do the Land in the Morning Light questline, which takes I think I did mine on day 1. I speed ran it, and it was 8-ish hours, and I was more or less listening to the story as well. But yeah, so let's just say about 190 billion for the helmet. The armor is, the same thing. But what you should be looking at is how many orders are on here. So You see how there's a couple orders at the 170 mark, whereas this one has a couple orders at the 180. So, you know, if you're going to enhance it for profit and it somehow goes on a 5%, you want to make that extra 10 billion. All right, so ultimately, does it matter if it's blue or green DR evasion? I don't think so. It just, like, most people are DR these days, and that's about it. So few orders into 170 for the gloves, but there aren't too many orders actually listed, so it might not be a bad option. And let's see, how is it looking on green? Green is actually pretty high. This might change coming in next week because they're giving a lot of people more accuracy with the upgraded Garmoth thing. We'll get more info next week, but it was on the global lab. So yeah, I'm not sure how evasion is going to be in the meta as of next week when they give everyone a lot of extra AP for upgrades for your sovereign and everything. So just keep that in mind. If you're trying to sell evasion gear right now, it might change in actually 2 days. So just keep that in mind. However, DR, the blue route, is generally safe because that's what most people have. Not too many orders on here, so I think people understood that as well. Going into the shoes, Ator shoes are in the 200s. And I kind of had an idea that if you were to be able to sell it, most people would sell it a little bit higher. A few more orders into 180. And let's see, the green route. A lot more orders on the evasion one, or a lot more listed, that I should say. So after looking at that, what are the best options, in my opinion, for your Jay's hammers that they're using? If you are a shy player and only play shy and you don't have a soul, is it worth it? No, you should never do that on your soul. So believe it or not, even though I don't really play a shy, I still got my primordial one just in the off chance I do want to play it at some point. Here's how you get it. From your seasonal, you get a Tet, right? And then you basically use this as a fail stack thing. If you're trying to build fail stacks, great. If it goes on like a random stack, also great. So I would not use Jay's hammers on this, even if you are a shy main. The best way to do it is probably just raw tapping it, hoping to build a stack, and if it goes on the way, that's just a bonus. So yeah, that's one thing. Let's see. Dragon Slayer is so outdated that should not even be able to be used on a Dragon Slayer. This was a lot of you guys may not even know, Dragon Slayer was the alternative to Dandelion back in the day, so Dandelion isn't even relevant anymore. It's basically boss gear Black Star. So the fact that this is even an option is like a bait, and if you use it on that, you just minus Jay's hammer. So boss weapons and armor, which are Black Stars essentially, the only route you should go is Tet to pen on a Black Star, not the armor, the weapon. Armors are a bait and a beginner trap. You should not do that. And the last route is Fallen God, which we looked at the prices for all of them, and I think the best thing to do is probably the Ator shoes, followed by the helmet in terms of sales. So once again, TLDR, what should you look at? The number of orders that people are putting on so they could buy it. If there's a lot of orders, it's probably worth getting it so you can dump it quicker. A lot of other people are going to have that idea as well. And then, you know, if you're getting it for self-use or profit, chances are the Black Star is going to hit at a higher chance than others. I think if you are using like a 250 stack on Try to Tet, it's around like a 5%-ish. Whereas if you're going from Tet to Pen on a boss weapon on like a 250, 300, I believe that's like a 6-7% chance. So slightly higher on success rate on weapons, but at a lower value, but that is less relevant because you're using it for a specific reason. Whereas armors, if it hits on a Try to Tet, that's huge money, but lower percent All right, well, anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. Just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Also, thank you guys so much for all the support on the videos lately. Hopefully they help you, whether you're a beginner, returning player, or just looking to get better. I have more stuff coming down in the days to come, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.